In this video, I'd like to talk about the math question of the day for Tuesday, July 4th, 2023. And with this problem, we have a graph of two different functions, f of x and g of x, and we need to evaluate this function expression here. And questions like these might be taught in an Algebra 1 class, though depending on which school you go to, you might also see this in Algebra 2 or PreCalculus. So at this point, go ahead and pause the video, see if you can work through this on your own. And when you're ready, unpause the video and we can go through this together. Now, assuming that you have attempted the problem, let's start working through this. And we need to evaluate this expression here, which I can rewrite as minus 3 multiplied by f of negative 8 plus 7 multiplied by g of 2. So the key idea is that we need to figure out what these functions evaluate to at their different x values, and then we can substitute in those values and evaluate this entire expression. So let's start with f of negative 8. We find an x value of negative 8, and we look at this blue function, since that's f of x. So at negative 8, we go to our function right here. And essentially, we're just looking for the y value of the function, which looks to be at negative 2. So we can see that f of negative 8 is negative 2. Now we go to g of 2 and try to evaluate that. Find an x value of 2. We go down to the pink function, which is the function g of x. And at an x value of 2, it looks like our function has a y value of negative 4. So we can write that g of 2 is negative 4. Now, since we know what these functions evaluate to at their different x values, let's actually plug them in. So we have negative 3 multiplied by f of negative 8, which we know is negative 2. And I do highly recommend, when substituting, plugging these in parentheses. And that just helps keep track of the negative numbers. Then we have plus 7 multiplied by g of 2, which we know is negative 4. And at this point, we can just simplify. Using our order of operations, we multiply before we add. Negative 3 times negative 2, that is positive 6. And 7 times negative 4, that's negative 28. So we're adding negative 28, which is the same as subtracting 28. And 6 minus 28 would be negative 22. So this right here should be our final answer.